Alright. Okay, Mr. Director, we're just trying to get your focus.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Not quite. Almost. Just gotta... Okay, perfect.
Great. So the reason I actually asked you to come in today is because...
Wow. This is actually a nice spot you got here. Whoa. Look at that.
Thanks. I made it myself.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, back to why we are here.
Yep.
Like I mentioned before, we're here to talk about...
Oops. Drop the camera. Darn thing is like butter.
Isn't that an expensive camera?
Nah. We're good. It happens all the time. Don't you even sweat it.
I mean, if you say so.
Hey, I haven't meaning to ask this. If we're in an anime, why do we even have a camera?
Are you serious? Anime uses popular camera techniques to tell their stories all the time, just like any other film or content.
What? No fooling?
Alright, here. Let me show you. Much better. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that animated intro because today is an important topic, a fun topic for all of you, and it's all in this episode of Watch Like a Filmmaker. But seriously though guys, this is a very important topic and fun topic for me because I'm a huge fan of anime. For those of you that don't know, anime is typically a Japanese style art form and animation. Even better yet is because this is Watch Like a Filmmaker, we're actually going to be talking about the camera techniques that are used in anime. And if you haven't already, please check out my old video talking about camera techniques. We went over quite a few different ones that we're going to be talking about today, and it is a great precursor. So real quick, go watch that, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, welcome back. Okay, now that you've seen that video, let's get into this week's episode of Watch Like a Filmmaker, exploring camera techniques in anime with our first from Howl's Moving Castle. So of course we start off in a medium close of the characters as they have their conversation, moving into a wide shot of, remember, establishing where they're at. So where the conversation is being placed, we can actually see the glass windows behind, the columns is more regal area, and the greenery. So we're in a very nice maintained area, cutting back to a medium close again as we have a conversation with the lady in red. Moving back, now we're in a close-up as we continue the conversation. Now we haven't discussed this, but they're also keeping to the same camera angle, not breaking the 180 rule. That's not something we've discussed, we'll continue that later. Going again into a medium shot as we introduce a new character, a close-up to identify where that character is feeling, and then finally this over the shoulder. So an over the shoulder shot, and then back to a medium close. So this was a quick breakdown from Howl's Moving Castle from Hayao Miyazaki. Now keep in mind though, this is more of a cinematic piece. So it's already a film with a major release from a major production company and a very well-known anime director. So is that really the best example to show what I'm talking about? I mean, if I'm trying to convince you that anime and film and content follow some of the same rules with their camera techniques, is it really the best idea to show a major cinematic release? But I assure you, even without a major motion picture release, anime still follows these rules. So we're gonna move on to another clip, again, showing you the clip first before we break it down. And let's continue with this, a clip from a personal favorite of mine, Berserk. Again, another that you would have to see if you want to try and enjoy anime for the first time. It is a lot to handle. I don't want to spoil it. To be honest, before we continue, I recorded this next bit quite a few times because I kept breaking it down from a fan of this series. Again, I enjoy this anime Berserk a lot. It is one of my top 5 at least. So I had to record this quite a few times to actually focus on the camera techniques and not just the backstory and marveling at the scene, which doesn't give a lot away. So it's not one of the spoilers, so you can still enjoy the anime if you see this clip. But man, anyway, before I continue rattling on about this anime, let's watch the clip. I would consider this more of an establishing shot because we're seeing where they're at, cutting back into a more mediums. And then this shot right here, which I would consider more of a tracking shot. See how we're moving right here? The camera's tracking. Now there's no camera, but as we know, again, another tracking shot, which is kind of cool to see in this clip because we see a lot of movement. And I think we talked about that. Our tracking shots can show a lot of movement through the surroundings. And even in an anime, it's true. So You still have the moving camera as we see the excitement as we become a part of the party and the dance, and it's beautiful cinematography. Ooh, a close-up. And you can see depth of focus here as not just a motion blur of everything around them, but as you see, again, more depth of field right there. Amazing. You kind of see every time they focus on a character too, the area behind them is more out of focus, and that's what I mean by depth of field, ending with, again, depth of field, motion blur. This is all things created in an animated way, but follows the same principles of any major film, television show, or content. And oh my gosh. Isn't it kind of funny that I mentioned that in that last video when I was talking about the camera techniques, a close-up can show the tear, whether it's a happy tear or a sad tear, and we just saw them do that. Close-up, in more of a motion piece, but a close-up where they show this happy tear to end that character. So it's amazing what animation can do. And it's amazing where anime falls in love with some of the same things that we enjoy about our favorite films and content. But we are not done yet. We're almost done with the video, guys. This is the last clip, and I hope by now you're starting to see the similarities even between anime and some of our favorite films, content, and television. And I've always found that fascinating. Even without a camera, even without a physical camera, they treat the view like they would a camera in itself, creating a visual and mesmerizing experience. It's very talented, creative, and amazing storytellers that make these things possible. And I hope you're enjoying the episode as much as I am. As I said, we are almost done with one more clip, a bonus clip for us to break down. For those of you that don't know, and I'm not able to follow everything, but you can start to see where the action comes into place. Now, the reason I picked this clip is not just for the certain camera techniques, but also because this is an amazing place where anime and some of the film techniques used in major motion pictures, television, or our favorite streaming content differs. So that was really quick, and as our bonus clip, I know it's really tough for me to end it without breaking down some of it. So let's actually talk about some of the camera techniques used, because other than that, I feel like personally that was just a reaction to a really cool fight scene and a very fun, energetic, action-packed anime. So we start off with an extreme close of the character. This is to get that reaction. This is an intense moment, and of course, the more we bring a camera in, the more intimate we become with that person's emotions or feelings. So that's where you can kind of see the storytellers maybe took the direction by bringing us in really close. We see the intensity and the fierceness before the battle even begins. With such an action-packed scene, they gotta keep things moving, so they take away from that extreme close-up and move into more of a wide shot, giving us an expanse of what's going on. Of course, in this particular shot, by showing that immense explosion, we get a sense that this guy has a lot of power behind him, this guy has a lot of force, and he's kind of an intimidating foe. So it sets the tension up very quickly with just a wide shot. See again how they take this clip right here and make it a wider, much larger shot to explain again the strength, the intensity, and the power behind this dynamic fight. And this frame says a lot in just a single shot. So we're seeing again the intensity of it as big explosions and fires happening. We're seeing the immense strength and power of the character who just fired it off. And then 3, again, we're making this character intimidating, this larger than life, big explosions, unseen, unheard of, and it serves a story. By making this one character seem like the end-all be-all strongest guy there, we're able to lead back to our main character who wins in the end, and his fun-loving nature by also showing that even against all that, this one character wins. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I enjoy not only, of course, talking about movies, but I love anime. So this has been a treat and a pleasure for me, and I hope you guys got a chance to learn something. Because, as we've seen today, the camera techniques that we see in our favorite content, film, television shows, streaming sites, whatever, all of that can also be applied to anime. And that's an interesting topic in itself. And that is the end of the video. My name is Christopher. I am the theFitDirector, and this has been another episode of Watch Like a Filmmaker. If you haven't already, I will leave a link somewhere to the first episode where we talked about camera techniques to kind of catch you up. And be prepared for more episodes where we break down some new camera techniques that we discussed today. Over the Shoulder was a new one that we haven't discussed on the channel previously, and there's so many more to discuss going forward, but we'll leave that for other videos. And remember, a new episode of Watch Like a Filmmaker is every Saturday, and I will see you there next week with a brand new episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and